Is it that under that?
Stay here, but when you finish the water, sit back down. So I'm going to leave him here. And I will follow up. So I'm opening it. And I'm opening it. I'm introducing you. I've got your bio. You come up and do everything and you sit back. Times will go down there.
And then you and do the story?
Yeah, we'll do that after it's all done.
Oh, so okay. All right, that's all.
Hi. What's that? Oh, you want to say hello to Rob? Yeah. Hi, I met you at the Goldfields.
That's right.
Do you
Yes, yes,
remember what time you were up there?
After Mr. Milani down there, he's been talking to me about some of the school, and then I turned up and there's all you girls there.
From the Goldfields, like, yeah.
That's
I was
right.
like, she knows you. Oh my God.
And then she got them coming to do
I know,
this.
she was like, oh, we're having I'm sending you like a Facebook.
Yes, I'll do it. Thank you. She'll just see that we know that. I just wanted to know why. Yeah. And then I said, I'm like, then I'll
It's like an official, transparent and walking your story to it. Yeah. That's good. And then if you take some video, that's good. It comes back up and off he goes. Have you heard this? It's amazing. Yeah. I'm not sure where they put it.
So is that, so where does he go?
He goes right here. He's
Oh,
right
so he comes back here. Oh, you borrowed it from
Do you want me to move something?
Where
Do it now. What's that?
and now where's
Good morning, St Hildas. It is my absolute pleasure and honour to welcome the St Hilda's community to our NAIDOC Assembly. I am delighted to introduce the wonderful Robin Collard and her grandson Trice Rioli to open the Assembly with an official welcome to country. Robin Collard has a Bachelor in Education and a Master's in Education, Noongar Wujak Baladang Cultural Advisor, educator, storyteller and Noongar language teacher. She has a personal focus on authentic shared leadership, social justice and equity for all Australians. Creates an understanding through non-judgmental workshops and activities. Robin is a Noongar yoga from the Wajak and Baladang roots and is a mother of 3 and nana to 14 beautiful and talented grandchildren. Her wider family includes the Maguire, Bennell and Shaw families with connections to the Tiwi Islands. Robin led the implementation of cultural activities based in Noongar cosmology through educational settings at all levels in both the Northern Territory and WA. She is a passionate sports follower and a supporter of many different activities, especially those that include her grannies. Please welcome Robin Collard.
Good morning, my name is Robin Collard. My other name is Rioli, and I am one of many traditional owners and custodians of this land. And I'm truly honoured to welcome you here this morning for your NAIDOC Assembly for 2022. I would like to acknowledge with the highest respect Noongar Marmin, Ngunis, Kulungas, Yogas, Jukin, Burdias, Kaya, Wanju, Wanju. So I'm welcoming all of the men, the women, Kulungas, young people, leaders here this morning. Normally we combine the smoking ceremony with a welcome to country, so I will talk about that through this welcome. The smoking ceremony cleanses the body and the soul and the spirit as we stand there and the wall or the smoke rises and we add the eucalyptus leaves and the peppermint leaves along with the crushed balga gum to create the beautiful healing smoke and aromas that we breathe in, particularly at this time of the year when it is cold and wet and rainy. We are asking the good spirits to be with us when we do a smoking ceremony. What wirin nija calling what? Karakans moich kar walbring. And as we stand around the fire, we breathe, we reflect, and we meditate. So we heal. Ngala puja, ngala mort, ngala karijanija. There are 3 things that are really important for Aboriginal people, and particularly us here in Noongar Buja. That is our connection to country, our connection to land, and of course, our connection to family. Ngalakan kura kura nija mort janabiri nija wankanin kwapuran wajak puja. Janabiri nija kura kura kaya kura. In our gathering, it's really important for us to acknowledge our ancestors who've walked this land for many, many thousands of years. We stand on their shoulders. They have kept our stories going our language and our knowledge. Kaya wanju nunakan kwabarak nunga buja, nija kerlak nunakan calling nija generate. Wadaran nija. Walyalak nija. Wadaran. Wajama. Nija Durbul Nara. Nija Jalgara. Karamurda. Mandun. Jundala. Borlu. Karagara. Maragara. Durbul Yerigan nija. All of these places that I've just mentioned are very special for Noongar people. We have Fremantle just down the road, or Walyaluk. We cross over the Wadran or the sea to Rottnest Island with all of its sad stories. And we curl back to Durbul Nurra, the Coburn Sound, and we cross the land or the Budjar, across the Beal until we come to Jalgara, the Canning River. We then come to the foothills of Karamurra, or the Black Ranges, or the Darling Ranges as we know it. Also in Noongar folklore, to be known as the backbone or the skeleton of the Wargle, or the rainbow serpent. We go a little bit further north to Mandurn, the place of many trees. To you, it is known as Guildford. We then go further north to Joondalup, where the story of Junda is connected here to the Noongar place of Joondalup that you know as Point Walter, because she is the lady with the long white hair, and she would tangle up children, Kullangas, into her hair and take them up to make the Milky Way, because children would become the stars in the sky. So in other words, you needed to stay with your adults and your family, because when the tide comes in over the river, it covers up the spit at Point Walter or Joondalup, and you could get taken away in the waters. You would then become a star in the sky. So there's many, many stories that we tell around these places. Nija jinang ma wakal kari jan wankaning, we're in Buja born a wankaning, but of course kart mindich. Nija ngan nija korokot European Buja. Welcome to the sacred ground and the home of the rainbow serpent, the Wargle. This is a creation story for Noongar people, for this land, of how the land was made, how the language has kept going, and the stories are still here. Many, many places across the world, Indigenous peoples have their own creation stories connected to their land. This is ours. We listen to the many stories of this land. If we stand quietly, we can hear the land speaking to us, whether that is Kulbadi the magpie, Wardong the crow, or Jiddy Jiddy the willy wagtail, or whether it's on a day like this, Kep Nija Jinang, the raindrops are falling to not only cleanse the land, but also to keep us nourished with water. So these are the things that are important for Noongar people. Nija makaru nunakan ni. Nunakan dat nini ni jinang wankaning. This is the season of makaru, the coldest and wettest time of the year. So Noongar people, the word for cold is nyering. Nyering. Oh, wara nyering today. And it is, kedlak nija. And I just hope it gets a little bit better for the football tonight. So Makaru, that cold time of the year. There might be a time when we are humbled through sorrow, as our family is going through at the moment, but also through health with COVID-19. We've still got to look after ourselves. Nonok Murich, but you are strong and solid. Ngalakan Murich, and we are strong and solid together, and we will get through these tough times. Ngalakan kwap we're nija kanya. Kuling wankani kurja kanya janabiri nija. Wajak buja nija. So we ask that this good spirits be here with us today, and that this is a fantastic celebration, and guide our words and hearts to be kind to one another and respectful. So the theme for NAIDOC this year is get up, stand up and show up. And in Noongar, that is yiriyakaning, wankaning. And I'm also asking you to speak up. Yakai Yunka, thank you. been asked to share a short story with you in terms of my journey. Growing up in Brookton in the first 4 years of my life, I can't remember much of it. But I do remember coming to White Gum Valley to live in a little 3-bedroom home with my family. There were 9 of us at the time. Life isn't always easy. There are times when I was broken, times when it was hard, particularly when you were the only Aboriginal family living in that Fremantle area at the time. Police would often come and knock at our door because they wanted to know if we knew someone down the road or who could have done this criminal act. So it was pretty tough. I grew up in a time when racism was okay, when I would miss out on school trips because we were Aboriginal. So they were tough times. However, it also builds the resilience. People never thought that we could achieve anything. I recall driving around in the back of the old FJ Holden with all of my family, and my old grandfather would be telling us stories when we would go up to Gallop. And he'd be saying, "This is your family." I was 7 or 8 years old. I didn't know what Pop was talking about. But it must have sunk in somewhere. He's the storyteller. I too am now a storyteller. And we were immersed in Noongar language because Pop held on to it, whereas a lot of our extended family members, they weren't allowed to speak Noongar because if they did, they would be put in jail or isolated. My parents had something similar to a passport, and these were their citizenship papers that they had to carry. And I can remember as a little girl looking at this and my name wasn't in it, and I thought, what's going on? How come I'm not there? But by that time it had started to phase out. Even though in 1967, I was still a part of the Flora and Fauna Act. So I was not a real person in this world. We didn't always have friends at school because of being Noongar. But by gee, I was the first person they came to when they wanted someone on their sporting team. Whether it was netball, whether it was softball, you name it. The only sport I didn't get into was hockey. I think I was sort of frightened of the sticks. All of my sisters played hockey, but I didn't. Hated it with a passion. But I loved my football. That was the equaliser when we would go down to watch the famous South Fremantle Bulldogs play at Fremantle Oval, and we would go as a family. Who was to know that my future husband would be playing there? Who would know, who would ever have thought that me as a youngster growing up and then going to South Fremantle Senior High School and being the first Noongar person to go through Year 11 and Year 12 there. So in some ways I'm a trailblazer. So back at that time, things were happening. There was this whole change that was going on. Not many Aboriginal kids were completing Year 12 then. I was only one of 2 that I knew of at the time, and the other lass was on the northern side of the river. So you could count on one hand. And that was the time when Gough Whitlam was the Prime Minister of Australia, and he brought in some scholarship programs to try and keep Aboriginal kids at school. Well, I was one of them. So those things can make a difference. My father was a shearer. My mother used to work over here at the steam laundry. You know where all those flash houses are, where the Stirling Bridge is, that are built now? The old Fremantle steam laundry used to be there. And I can remember on holidays, I went there one day with her to work, and I vowed I would never work in a place like this. So I had aspirations, I had goals sitting at the back. And when we would go up to Brookton and see some of our family and see the issue of alcoholism and domestic violence, I vowed that I would never marry a person who drank. That's how big of an impact those different issues had on me. So completing year 12, fantastic TEE score at the time, it's a different name now, and doing matriculation. So I was pretty unique at that time. And I tried some different journeys. I went down to Fremantle Hospital and I did nursing for 6 months, and I figured out that was not the job for me. I tried going to Curtin University to do social work. I had no idea. So one of the things that I want to point out, when I finished year 12, I had no role models. I had no mentors, I had no coaches to help me through this academic side. I didn't even know that when you went to university that there were lectures like this, or that you had tutorials that you went off to. It was completely foreign because I'd never ever set foot in a university at that point in time. How things have changed. I then, after living in Melbourne when my husband was playing football over there, came back and I thought, I'm going to enrol at Murdoch University. I'm going to finish my teaching, which I did. But I had different people say to me, oh, you'll never be a teacher. You'll never finish it. So all of these people were planting these negative seeds in my head. But I just did it because I wasn't listening to anybody else about that. I wanted to do something for me. Now, whilst I was there, I had 3 young children studying. Wasn't easy. Husband was still playing football, he was still working full time. I had to set up that journey of being a mother, a housewife, a student. And you know what? I did it. If I can do it, you can. And not only completing that, I've had some fantastic jobs, not only here in Western Australia, but also in the Northern Territory, in both Catholic education as leadership, but also in the Department of Education. So one of my roles, I was principal up at the Tiwi Islands of the primary school, teaching years 4, 5, 6 and 7, all in the one class. After that, any class was easy. The whole range of kids, leading the whole school. So there's also that respect that comes with it. Unfortunately, the next time that I go back in 2 weeks, it will be for sorry business. But these are all a part of the things that we weave through and we finish. Once I was at Catholic Education, they said, oh, how about, have you thought of doing some study? And I was trying to say, no, I'm getting too old, I can't do it. I don't want to do anymore. But you know what? I bowed under the pressure. I enrolled at Notre Dame University and I completed my Masters because I live with 10 of my little grandchildren and they would be knocking on my door saying, Nana, we want to spend time with you. But Nana had to say no because I had assignments to do. I had research to do. But you know what? I finished it. And in fact, my grandson, Trice, was at my graduation ceremony down at Notre Dame. I was the only Noongar person in that whole auditorium that was a graduate of the master's degree. So you know what? As a little girl, when I used to hide behind my mother's skirts because I was frightened of anyone and everyone, to now be here speaking to you in this audience, and I do it on many occasions, and I'm still a general manager of cultural safety and partnerships with an organisation that I work with, so I am leading them. I am changing the way that they work so that they understand, because it's all about education and teaching and sharing our stories. So if I can do it, you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin, for welcoming us on Wajak Noongar Boodja land and for that wonderful story. And you always do it so beautifully, so thanks very much. Just a quick snippet. When Robin was the team leader for the Aboriginal Department of the Catholic Education Office, she was in charge of overseeing all Aboriginal programs and engagement in Catholic schools in the southwest region. And I had the privilege of meeting Robin whilst working as an English teacher and member of the Aboriginal program at Trinity College. And I also had the pleasure of travelling with her and her team to the East Coast as we researched how Aboriginal programs were run. And with that, I took some valuable lessons with me and strategies to implement both in my teaching and within the Aboriginal program at Trinity. Her grandsons, not only Trice, were a part of the Aboriginal program, and I also worked alongside Gary Malarkey, a proud Balladong man, a maths teacher, a former AFL Hall of Famer, and a proud father and grandfather. And he is here today in the audience and is a great friend and colleague of both Robin and myself. So, I'm going to introduce you to Manny Vincent, who you know, a proud Yaru young woman from Broome, and she's going to act as our Master of Ceremonies today. Manny Vincent's mother, Claudine, graduated from St Hilda's in 1986 and unfortunately cannot be with us today as she's at Guildford teaching. However, she is delighted that her daughter has an opportunity to celebrate as a First Nations student at St Hilda's at our 2022 NAIDOC Assembly.
Good morning, students and teachers, and welcome to our NAIDOC Week Assembly. I hope you all had a lovely and long break and are ready for the new term. Due to our NAIDOC Week celebrations, falling during our term break, today we celebrate and pay our respects with our NAIDOC Week Assembly. Now, a lot of you may be wondering what NAIDOC Week means. NAIDOC Week is a chance for all Australians to celebrate and recognise the history, culture and achievements of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. The theme this year is Get Up, Stand Up, Show Up, which pays respect to a proud history of activism and resistance by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. It recognises the First Peoples' resilience and strength and celebrates those who have led and driven significant change throughout their communities. In spirit of this year's theme and in the strength of the St Hilda Sisterhood, I encourage everyone to get up, stand up and show up, not only for this week, but every week of the year. I'd now like to welcome you a very special guest speaker, Linda Winmar. Linda is a dedicated athlete and trainer with extensive experience working with youth and operating heavy machinery. Originally from Pingelly, Western Australia, she made history in 2016, becoming the first Western Australian Aboriginal woman to box professionally. Winmar had 5 amateur bouts before turning pro, coming runner-up in the Silver Gloves and Golden Gloves and winning the State WA Novice Championships. Linda competes across the super featherweight, lightweight and super lightweight divisions, with every bout requiring a complete transformation of her 177-metre frame. A devoted youth worker, Linda has served as an Aboriginal and Islander Education Officer for the Department of Education WA and a mentor and residential care worker for the Department of Child Protection WA. Prior to focusing on youth, she worked as a drill operator and a truck driver in the mining industry positions usually dominated by men. She has also worked as a professional trainer and animal carer. Linda has never backed down from a challenge and embraces opportunities to encourage other people to aspire and strive. Please welcome Linda to the lectern.
Kaya, hello. How you all going? Good, I hope. My name is Linda Winmar Farmer. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I haven't spoken in front of a crowd for quite a while. I am a Noongar yoga. I grew up in a little town called Pingelly, which is right next to Brookton. I've been up in the city since I was 16 though, so yeah, really used to the city life. The theme for NAIDOC is get up, stand up, show up. So I would like to share a little bit about failure, resilience and courage. My story about my failures, my resilience and my courage to keep going despite my hard times, and that is why I get to celebrate all my successes. One thing I highly value in life is time. Life is fast and time goes by very, very quickly. So speaking here today gave me a chance to look on my journey and really recognise what I've achieved. So I'll just talk about my fighting. I've been fight training since a young age. Not many females were fight training when I first started, and there were no Noongar females, so I was always the only one. I was the first ever Noongar female to go pro in 2016, and I still am currently the only Noongar female that is a professional fighter. I've always been the only female in a fight team. It's very, very male dominated, so I've always felt that I've had to work 10 times as hard to be taken seriously. But state of mind has everything to do with it. Every time I walked into a fight gym, I felt like I belonged there. I actually knew that I belonged there. When I was an amateur, I remember walking into a gym, and I remember the head coach telling me, "I don't train women. You shouldn't be here. Women should be at home. You should be at home." I remember looking at this trainer, and I was, I was trembling inside. I was embarrassed. It was full of boys and men, and the gym was full. So he's said this in front of everybody. And I took a deep breath, and I remember saying to him, "I'm not leaving. I've come all this way. I'm not leaving until I finish training. And just so you know, I guarantee you that I can bash all the boys in this gym." I kind of said that just to try and give myself a little bit of confidence. But I had a choice to make. I had to make a quick choice. I could have said, "Yeah, okay," and turned around and drove home. But I said no. I'm going to stay. I'm going to work hard, and I prove these guys wrong, because I know I deserve to be here. So after training was over, they definitely had a different opinion of me. The respect was there, and later on down the track, that certain trainer wanted to train me, and I said no. Looking at my achievements, I'm featured in an art gallery. I'm featured in the WA Museum. You can find my gloves there and my story. I made history as the first ever Noongar female pro boxer. I've competed in golden gloves, silver gloves. I'm a WA state title champion. I was ranked, after my last fight, I won first round knockout in 1 minute and 14 seconds, and after that I was ranked number 1 in Australia and ranked number 10 in the world. And if I would have listened to all the people that said no and all the people that told me I couldn't, I would have achieved none of that. So I just wanted to share that, you know, you are going to fail in life. You're going to fail a lot. You're going to be told no, and you're going to come across people who tell you that you can't. But it will all come down to how much you believe in yourself and how strong your state of mind is, how resilient you are, how courageous you are. Everyone in this room is capable of greatness. You can achieve anything you want to achieve. Where people get stuck is when they start believing people that say that you can't. They stop when it gets hard. People stop at failure. But what people don't realise is failure is a part of success. I've failed my way to everything that I've achieved. I've found so many ways that didn't work, but they've all led me to what did work. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. You just got to keep getting up. You've got to keep coming. Life will never, ever defeat someone who does not stay down. I just want to share before I finish something that I feel like is really important to me. I feel like you really have to have a strong reason of why you do things. If you don't have meaning behind the things that you want to accomplish, if you don't have meaning behind your goals and your dreams, you won't get there. You need to have a strong reason why. I just want to share one of my big reasons why I really believe in myself and a reason why I never stay down. And see if I can tell you this without crying. So I'm one of 64 grandchildren, and most of my cousins are a lot older than me. So my grandmother is Linda Winmar Senior, and I'm one of the youngest grandkids, and when I was born, she came into the hospital and she said to my dad, I had a dream that you named your daughter Linda. So Dad said, I couldn't disappoint Mum, I had to name you Linda. As my nan growing up, my nan wasn't educated. She wasn't allowed to go to school because she was Aboriginal. Here come the tears. So she never knew how to sign her name, which really hurt my dad. You know, he used to get quite upset about that. So for me, a big reason why I will never, ever accept failure is because I will sign my grandmother's name for as long as I can. And that's how much that all means to me. So sorry, I can never tell that story without getting some tears, but yeah, that's why I continue to keep going. That's a big reason why. And when you've got a strong reason, you will never fail, you will never stop. You will be so resilient. So make sure when you go out in life, you do things, make sure that you really find what matters to you and really use that to help make a difference. And thank you. I hope you enjoyed my speech. Cheers.
Good morning, I'm Vasola and this is Dami and Erica. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is one of the most fundamental documents for international human rights. It was the first document to set out the fundamental human right to be universally protected and has been translated into over 500 languages. It aims to protect the inherent dignity of each human being in all aspects. The Reconciliation Committee would like to share with you all the key articles from the document that we believe are highly relevant in our changing society. Article 1 states, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of sisterhood. Article 6 states, everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law.
Article 25 states, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for health and well-being of him or herself, of his or her family, including food, clothing, housing and medical care and necessary social services. Article 27 states, everyone has the right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts and to share in scientific advancements and its benefits.
From these articles, it is clear the importance of advocating for those we can. As a committee, we believe it is important to advocate for Australia's Indigenous people, as it not only draws attention to prevalent issues that exist amongst the population, but also gives an opportunity to be educated and develop our understandings on how we can all do that we can to inform the public of the need for change. We aim to respect and promote the rights of all First Nations people in Australia and want to learn more about their rich culture.
During Reconciliation Week this year, the Year 7s were very lucky to be the first year to participate in a variety of Yolnga games, traditional Indigenous games from our great nation. The day was a blast, and it is a tradition that we are hoping to continue throughout the Year 7 cohort each year during Reconciliation Week. The girls participated in 6 games that were traditionally played in various locations around Australia, from games played by the Noongar people of the southwest of WA to games played by the Kabi people of South Queensland. Not only was the day super successful, but also very educational for the Year 7s about the rich First Nations culture in Australia.
We would like to thank Ms McLennan and the Reconciliation Committee for all their help in preparation for the day, and we would like to extend our gratitude towards the P Department, P Committee and Ms Swain's PES class for all their assistance on the day. We couldn't have done it without you all.
We would now like to welcome Ms Johnson to the lectern to present the winning Year 7 House degree, in particular the Wellbeing Group D2. Kavindri Abesurya, Tessa Bijou, Indigo Benet, Genevieve Chinani, Sophie Cripps, Sheree Duckworth, Devon Edmiston, Genevieve Garn, Maya Galencher, Olivia Hall, Claudette Keating, Claire Lee, Jessica Lee, Talis Lloyd, Annalise Moore, Jemima Patterson, Lucy Phillips, Clara Radici, Adelaide Stedman, and Daisy Wu. Congratulations, girls.
This year, our Reconciliation Committee introduced several new initiatives to foster our community pride in both the history and future of Australia.
We made notable changes within our St Hilda's community. These changes, as such, included flying the Indigenous Australian flag and Torres Strait Islander flag at Reconciliation Week, and rewriting our Acknowledgement to Country. This Acknowledgement to Country now recognises both the traditional custodians of our land and how this entwines with St Hilda's values of imagination, knowledge, excellence and authenticity. It has also been inserted as a banner at the bottom of every staff and student's email, working to further show our respect towards First Nations peoples.
In addition, for National Reconciliation Week in May, the Year 7 students participated in Yolnga Games, as mentioned by Basola, Damalola and Erica. This enabled students to learn and embrace aspects of our Indigenous culture. During the week, we had lunchtime screenings of the film Rabbit Proof Fence. It was encouraging to see many students attending these sessions as a means of facing the truth about Australia's history, in particular the stories of the stolen generation. I know many of these girls found the film both confronting and difficult to watch, including myself, but embraced our reconciliation journey. To conclude our celebration of this week, every student from Year 7 to 12 participated in a collaborative art piece. Handprints were placed in front of the word reconciliation, representing the colours of the First Nations flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag, to further reinstate our whole school participation in our reconciliation journey.
St Hilda's hosted a netball game with PLC and Scotch College for our Indigenous Australian students. It seemed everyone had a fun time, and two Olympians, Mariah Williams and Brooke Paris, shared their experiences and career highlights. In addition, every week in the past 2 terms, members of our Reconciliation Committee have gone over to our Chidley campus to read Indigenous Dreamtime stories to our younger students. The students became engaged with learning about Aboriginality and their unique language, diversity and connection to land.
Plans for the future include the implementation of a new Indigenous design for our Bumblebee shirts, that Margaret Pigram, Phoebe Lovegrove are involved in this initiative, and Sophie Seymour is wanting her friend who does amazing art, Aboriginal artist Arizona Galbraith, to do a mural on the school campus.
Please congratulate the following girls on receiving their badges. Please hold your applause until all names are announced. Sophie Seymour, Cass Young, Damiola Oyewopo, Yasmin Vijayasekaran, Eva Davies, Tani Ransfield, Erica Ho, Basola Oyewopo, Matilda Kitchen, Maddie Shallard and Monique Hashem.
We welcome Teresa Richards and Mary Gowes to the lectern to discuss the junior school initiatives.
We were doing a drawing project about belonging and the people we felt connected to. It was inspired by the Belong exhibition by Martine Perot, a collaborative project with First Nation people about the reacquisition of languages and connection to country. We were looking for a song to inspire our silhouettes.
Well, in Year 2 music, we learned a song by renowned Australian composer Paul Jarman called Dreaming in the Sky. The Year 2s met Paul on Teams and interviewed him. He told them he was inspired to write the song by researching Indigenous Australian connection to the constellations.
In Year 5, we were doing an exploratory unit to the First Nations people, astronomy, night dreaming stories, and the Noongar creation stories linked to the night sky.
Paul's song resonated with what the Year 5s were doing, and they started to learn the harmony part of the song in choir with Mrs. Black. Then, Paul gave our school his words and his music, and the children's idea to make a book was born.
The Year 2s worked in small groups and created body shapes to reflect the words of the songs. And the Year 5s worked in small groups and created the backdrops to reflect the words of the song.
Our Belonging Project's journey continues.
And we would like to thank the First Nations people for helping us gain further understandings of the connection, the complexity and the beauty of this world. We hope you enjoy our project so far. Thank you.
Searching Hi everyone, I would now like to welcome part of the Reconciliation Committee to play. I wrote this piece to showcase aspects of Indigenous music that I was inspired by, including the complex, driving rhythms and the connection between musicians when the music was played. The girls have decorated their own tapping sticks using paint pens to create designs which are meaningful to them. No one who is playing tapping sticks is using music. Instead, they are listening to the patterns in the rhythm, the contour of the melody, the timbre of the tapping sticks, and communicating with each other. Certainly not an easy feat, and I'm very proud of you all. It has been an amazing experience to start a composition with notes on a page and see it come to life with the energy and enthusiasm of everyone involved, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Please make the Reconciliation Committee feel welcome as they perform for you.
Thank you, girls. That was an incredible performance, and I know Yazzie spent a lot of time organising and getting all the girls together, so it was just a great performance. I'd now like to welcome Jonah Brooks and Amaron Davis to speak to the audience about their initiatives that our Brothers School Christchurch Grammar have implemented to promote their Aboriginal program. We look forward to collaborating in 2023 and beyond.
Good morning, Ms. Johnson, special guests, staff and students. Thank you for inviting us here to celebrate your NAIDOC week. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Amaron and this is Jonah Brooks. Next week we'll be celebrating NAIDOC week at Christchurch Grammar School. Early in the year we celebrated Reconciliation Week by designing our Indigenous jumper, designed by Erwin Lewis, Jonah Brooks and myself. The first football team wore it against Wesley, and you can see the jumper on the PowerPoint. To celebrate NAIDOC Week, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students helped design the new PE shirt. Erwin Lewis was the brains behind the design. The new PE shirt will replace our old PE shirt and will be available from our uniform shop for the boys to buy. We have been learning traditional Noongar dance from Om and Wally. We have had a few practices so far and the boys are looking forward to performing in front of the school at our NAIDOC Week assembly next week.
We've also been working on creating a mural with the help of Andrew Beck. We started the process in Reconciliation Week. We were taught what to do and how to draw the mural based around the 6 Noongar seasons. We taught the rest of the school how to draw the mural and invited them to take part in the process. The mural is almost finished and we'll be revealing it next week. Every year we put on the NAIDOC Week art exhibition. This year we invited Yamaji artist Loretta Egan in to work with us to design ties and t-shirts. The boys put a lot of effort in to design their ties, and thanks to the art department, they're ready to display on the art exhibition next Wednesday, the 3rd of August. Our aim is to sell the ties at the uniform shop to help raise money for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander program to help future students. If you're interested in checking out our art exhibition, let us know, as we will be happy to give you a tour. Thanks to Ms McLennan and the Indigenous girls for inviting us along today.
Thank you, Jonah and Amaron. To close our NAIDOC Assembly, we have a wonderful performance of Great Southern Land by the St Hilda's musicians. I now invite Yazzie to introduce the piece.
I'm incredibly excited to introduce the last item of our NAIDOC Assembly, a time where we have been able to come together, explore and experience various aspects of the rich Indigenous culture. The final item will be a rendition of Great Southern Land written by Australian rock band Icehouse, performed by the Symphony Orchestra and an extended horn and percussion section. This arrangement of the song is by Stephanie Nichols and will be conducted by Mr. Matt Kidd. I would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Kidd on behalf of all the musicians for his passion and tenacity in making this piece come to life. Finally, I would like to welcome Trice Rioli, a Year 12 student from Trinity College, who will be featured on the didgeridoo. We are so grateful for this opportunity to share and experience your music, Trice. It is such an incredible privilege. Please enjoy and make the orchestra, Mr. Kidd and Trice feel welcome.
find you. This is not the way that I remember it here. Anyone will tell you it's a prisoner island, hidden in the summer for a million years. Great southern land. Burned you black. So you look into the land and it will tell you a story about a journey ended long ago. Listen to the motion of the wind in the mountains. Maybe you can hear them talking like I do. They're gonna betray you, they're gonna forget you. Are you gonna let them take you over that way? Great southern land, great southern land. You walk alone like a primitive band. They make it work with sticks and bones. I see their hungry eyes. It's a hungry home. I hear the sound of the strangers' voices. I see their hungry eyes. Their hungry eyes. Great southern land, great southern land. Burned you black like against the ground. Sitting at the limit of an endless ocean, stranded like a runaway lost at sea. City on a rainy day, died in the harbor, watching as the gray clouds shadow the bay. Looking everywhere, I had to find you. This is not the way that I remember it here. Anyone will tell you it's a prisoner island, hidden in the summer for a million years. Great southern land, in the sleeping sun. You walk alone with the ghost of time. They make you burn like against the ground. They make you burn with the rocks and sand. I hear the sound of the strangers' voices. See the hungry eyes, their hungry eyes. Great southern land, great southern land. You walk alone like primitive man. You walk alone with the ghosts and time. Yeah, they burned you black. Great southern land, 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 great southern land. Thank you.
Thank you to the music department for that wonderful performance. That now concludes the St Hilda's NAIDOC Week Assembly. We invite all guests to exit the auditorium for light refreshments on the boarding house lawn. Students, please sit quietly as we prepare for some announcements and awards. please remain. She was like, she keeps nodding at me. Just start going. Oh, tell them.
Oh. Students, please be quiet while everyone moves out of the pack. Thank you.
This was our 4th year of winning as the champion school for cross country, an incredible achievement. We are so incredibly proud of all the students' involvement and their hard work. Please acknowledge the following girls on receiving their awards. Please hold your applause until all have been announced. Year 7, Cream Bar, Kavindri Abisuria, Sophie Cripps, Holly Harris, Sanyu Kabiru, Genevieve McGregor, Sienna Robertson, Elizabeth Townsley, and Misha Wise. Year 8, Blue Bar, Devay Delilah Backshaw, Jasmine Boyle, Sophie Walker, and Monique Walker. Year 9, Gold Bar, Stella Armstrong, Ella Chudziak, Rani Serkovich, Isabella Franco, Grace Martino Wheeler, Ivy O'Brien, Alexandra Papanum, India Quartermain, Sheila Riggle, and Heidi Seymour.
Year 10, one band, Madeline Brahma, Harriet Burt, Eva Hewitt, Emma Newman, Mia Redman, Olivia Shields, Lucy Warren, Jaru Zhang. Year 11, two bands, Hannah Clements, Abby Colgan, Monique Hashim, Poppy Kimberley, Indy McDonald, Phoebe McIntosh. Year 11 colours, Tilly Banfield, Emily Chapman, Charlotte House, Octavia Peel. Year 12 colours, Molly Chalmers, Zali Dale, Holly Fraser, Ophelia Keating, Emma Lamond, Sophia Lee, Mia Scott, Sophie Seymour, Sophie Sutherland, Jane Homeschool. Honours, Tilly Whitner. Please welcome Miss Johnson to the lectern to address.
Thank you. Well, what a hard act to follow, girls, after an incredibly moving and powerful assembly. And throughout this morning's numerous speakers, Linda and Robin, who just really could have had us captivated for many more hours hearing their incredible journeys. I was sitting reflecting, first of all, on how long it feels since I've been in assembly with you, because I was absent the last week of term 2. But also how incredibly fortunate we are as a school community to be able to be holding assemblies and coming together and having that sense of connection. For any of you that follow my principal Instagram account, you will know that I was over in Boston for a week at an International Girls Coalition, and throughout that week I had a number of opportunities to speak with principals from all around the world. And of course the impact of COVID on schools was quite extreme depending on where you lived. And some of the principals that I spoke to had communities where for 2 years they did not assemble together either as a year level or as an assembly. So I was thinking while we were going through the most incredible celebration of an important occasion like NAIDOC Week about what it would have been like for us if we'd gone all through, say, year 11 and year 12 with no opportunities to come together in this incredible venue which we are blessed to have, to celebrate you, to celebrate St Hilda's, and to lift our eyes and look beyond the walls of St Hilda's. Imagine not coming together for graduation. Imagine not coming together for music performances. Imagine joining a school in year 7 and 8 and thinking for 2 years we've not gathered together. And hearing those stories of what's been happening around the world, I think we are incredibly blessed, and I felt immensely proud of every girl that was involved in this morning's assembly. I, like you, no doubt, will take away many learnings and just that opportunity to remember that we are a part of something so incredibly special. How lovely it was to have Christchurch with us today. A huge thank you to our musicians. I almost wanted to start bopping along, but I thought it would be inappropriate. But you know me, girls, sometimes I just can't hold myself back when it's a great song. And how wonderful to incorporate a didgeridoo. I don't know if any of you in your primary school music programs ever thought, oh, I'd like to give that a go. That looks pretty easy. It is the most impossible instrument to get a sound out of. So true credit to the young man that was playing today. He played it beautifully. Girls, next Friday, you're going to be asked for some feedback on St Hilda's through a student survey. Over the last term, we've asked your parents to tell us what we can do to make this the best school that it can be, and we've also asked our staff, what can we do to improve and have that continual commitment to be the best that we can be. And next Friday is going to be your chance during school time to give us your feedback. So please do take the survey seriously, because we will be going through your results. And then what I will be doing is coming back and sharing with you early in term 4, feedback from our parents, from our staff, and from our students. And I believe your voice is equally, if not more important in that space. So you know I'm a big believer for student agency and for using your voice to make a difference. So I ask you to do that professionally and respectfully in the survey and really give us some feedback we can seriously consider and work in partnership with you to make our school even better. When we welcomed you back to campus on Tuesday, we also had a number of new staff and a number of new parents, obviously the parents of the students, but also staff as well. So I know that you would join me in welcoming them and helping them be a part of our community as quickly as it can be. We're a very busy school and we're a complex school, so it does take a while to settle in, but I know that the care that you will offer our new families and our new students and our new staff will really be representative of the powder blue and what we're all about. You may have also noticed as you arrived back on campus a number of improvements as we're starting to invest in a number of areas on our Bayview campus to make our teaching and learning spaces the best that they can be. And I'm going to ask Mr. Hodges to slowly find his way up to the assembly. There he is, he swapped sides in the break. Mr. Hodges is our Director of Finance and Operations, and he's been working really closely with his team and also with me as we map out over the next 6 months the areas that we want to invest in to make our campus fantastic. So please join me in quickly welcoming Mr. Hodges to give us an update on our campuses.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, and good morning, everybody. So as Mrs. Johnson said, holiday periods for us in operations or facilities is a great opportunity to do a bit of maintenance and some project work, and certainly having a 3-week break, it gave us a really great opportunity to do some updates around the campus, and we'll just go through those. Next slide. Oh, it's already there. Look at that. This here is the bathrooms near the mass office. As you can see, what it used to be to where it is now. We do have a mirror that has been put in there since this picture, and the idea of doing this is obviously we've gone through and we've done all the toilets, we've retiled within the vanity hand, we've put a hot water system in there as well. Now this is only the beginning. We have 8 more bathrooms that we need to go around the campus and update, and over probably 12 to 18 months you'll see that actually happening during the break period. So the idea is just to bring it up and make it a little bit nicer. In the music area, we've put in a wall to separate a big classroom to make it into 2 smaller classrooms or more manageable, and provide a vocal and string room so that vocal and strings can have an area to specialise in. This is an example of some of the maintenance we're doing. So this is down at the pool, so we've gone through, done a deep clean, once again, before and after. Yep. Hopefully none of you have had the opportunity to see this one. This is our nursing station, and all we've done there, we've just given it a bit of a paint, refreshed, reorganised some stuff. This here is a garden, so we're looking at areas in the school where we can actually go through and revamp some areas and make them a little bit more useful for students, for yourselves. This is in the Jessie Rudder Garden, the north side of the library. So the idea here is can we go back one? Yep. The idea here is we're going to put some tables and chairs in this area here so that during breaks time you can actually go out and use that area. Next. Okay, the Esteem building. Now, during the holidays, we've had some guys in doing some demolition, and they've absolutely gutted the bottom floor of the Erna Mitchell building. So the idea is over the next 6 months is to turn it from this blank canvas into our new Esteem building. So we've been fairly busy. Next. Okay, so I've put this up here just so you've got an idea of what's happening on campus. The yellow part depicts all of the areas that are basically going to be out of bounds over the next 6 months. We've already blocked off the Erna Mitchell, between the Erna Mitchell and the PAC area, which is highlighted in yellow. Further on down so that we can do the Esteem building. And the only place we can enter the upstairs of the Esteem building, excuse me a sec, getting a call. The only place we can access the Esteem building are the eastern side near the Great Court. And you would have seen that if you've already been in that building, we've already put a wall up there, so you've got plenty of access to go up and down. In case of an emergency, you can also access the music rooms as well. You can actually go through into the hallway past the toilets that are up there and actually come out on the music side. So there's 2 exits here if need be. Next. And this is some work we're planning to do over basically the next 6 months as well. We're going to put some air conditioning in the gymnasium or in the gym. We're going to look at the bathroom, and the next one's the bathrooms in the library, so we're going to refurbish those over the next break. Refurbish upstairs at Erna Mitchell. If you've been up there, it looks a bit tired, so we're just going to take the opportunity to upgrade paint and upgrade that. And we're hoping to have completed before the beginning of next year, school year, both the Erna Mitchell and also the Heritage Centre, which is in the Hope House. Okay, thank you.
I noted the enthusiastic murmurings amongst you all, particularly around the girls' bathrooms and the Erna Mitchell building. So I think it was really important to share that with you girls so that if you do see areas sort of cornered off or taped off, that's why. But a good investment over the next 6 months.